Hello, it's Rashmir here. How often do you take time to celebrate what you've achieved, what you've done, what you've created? For many of my clients, I find it's not very often. I tend to work with people that are very driven, who always have things that they want to achieve and know that they're always in progress themselves and their work. And I find it's very rare that they actually take time to take stock of what they've achieved and to pause, to reflect, and in particular, to celebrate it. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's important to take time to celebrate and one way that you can actually use that time in a very powerful way that will be helpful for you in the future. So stay till the end if you want to hear that last little tip. But now let's begin with some of the reasons that it's important to take time to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time, right? It can be a few moments of pausing and reflection when you've completed something or achieved something. Or sometimes you might want to make a bit more of a deal of it, go out and celebrate with colleagues, with friends. Actually, however long you take, whether it's a few minutes or whether it's longer, it's not so much the time, but the act of pausing to celebrate that's important. And there's a few reasons for this. One is there's so much talk nowadays about gratitude and appreciation and the power of that. So celebrating in a way is similar, right? It's taking a moment to say, wow, we achieved this. That's fantastic. And in that moment of noting and celebrating, you are appreciating what's happened. You're appreciating yourself. You're appreciating others that might have been involved. You're appreciating in general, all the things that have led up to that moment. And that's a really good thing. So there's power in that in and of itself. Now, another reason is when you do take a moment to celebrate, you are actually pausing to reflect, to reset, and to take stock. And so there's a moment of potentially learning involved in that moment where you say, well, how do we get here? What happened? What did we achieve? What did we do? How, what were the things that contributed? What was luck or seemingly luck? And what could we have anticipated? What didn't go so well that we might have done differently, even though we succeeded? These are great reflection questions. And it may seem odd to do that when we're celebrating, but actually that can actually help us really hone in on not just the achievement of a result or whatever it is that we are taking the time to celebrate, but it can actually help us hone in on what is worth celebrating and potentially doubling down on in the future. So the other reason that I think it can be incredibly useful to celebrate is that it can help put things in perspective, right? Because when we are ambitious, when we're visionary, when we have a lot of things that we want to achieve, or if we're the type of person that just is always seeing that there's room for improvement, sometimes we don't give ourselves a moment to put it in perspective and to look back at the long arc of things that has no doubt led to that moment, or to see all of those and celebrate all of those that have contributed. And to look, and then to put that in the context of, well, what's coming up in the future and what and where may need to be reset or revised in some way because the context is changing or because we've learned some things in getting to this win that's really useful to inform the future. So it can also help us put things into perspective. And then finally, I promised to share something that I thought might be useful. And it's something really that one of my clients did. I'm going to use a phrase in particular of hers. She, after we had this conversation about taking time to celebrate and making a note of the things that have been achieved, and they don't have to be external things, right? They can, or results. They can sometimes be just the inner shifts as well. Those are worth celebrating as well. But when we had the conversation about taking the time to take stock, to make a note and to celebrate those things, she started to create what she calls a brag dog. And I absolutely love this phrase, particularly for women, because we don't tend to celebrate ourselves enough, and we don't tend to record or even name often our achievements and our wins. So in this brag doc, my client was keeping a regular record, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, of all the things that she was doing really well, or of all the things that she achieved. And so you can see why she's calling it a brag doc, right? Because there's lots of things in there. I mean, some of them might be more personal, in which case you might not want to brag about them. But there are certainly things in there that when the time comes to update her resume, to apply for the next job, to remind herself of what it is that makes her so good, she's got this record of things that she's achieved over, weeks, months, years even. And so it's all there ready for when it is useful, either to help remind yourself of why you are worth celebrating, or to help inform others and to put the case forward for why you deserve to step into greater leadership and authority in your work and in our world. So it's a little bit of a long video today, but I do hope that you're taking away something interesting and useful, and most importantly, that you will take some time to celebrate yourself and celebrate your wins now and in the future. Now, of course, if you like this video, please do like it. And feel free to subscribe to this channel. That always helps YouTube know that people find value in these videos, and that enables more people to see them. So that would really help me as well, get the word out to more women who want to change the world. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.